Hello, welcome once again to another video for your German Bundesliga prediction. I hope you had a wonderful week last week and you got some great returns. And for this week, we start on the Friday, and I'm going to jump straight into it, and we start with Hoffenheim versus Werder Bremen. Alright, Hoffenheim versus Werder Bremen for this game. Starting the game week 9 for the German Bundesliga. And so we're going to jump straight into it. For this one, Hoffenheim, I'm going to take Hoffenheim to win this game. And also in terms of teams scoring, I'm going to go with both teams scoring. Bremen seems to do a little bit. They seem to surprise teams away from home, that is. So I'm going to take both teams to score here. Alright, in terms of double chance, I'd say either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline from my perspective, I am saying 3-1 in favor of Hoffenheim. And on the handicap system, if you don't want to bet the correct score, you can always go and take Hoffenheim to win by a goal. Alright, so predictions for the Hoffenheim versus Bremen game. I'm expecting Hoffenheim to win. I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of double chance, I'd say either to win and both to score. In terms of scoreline, I'm saying 3-1 in favor of Hoffenheim. And on the handicap system, I'll go with Hoffenheim to win this one by a goal. Alright, so we're going to jump on over to our next game for this week. Game week 9 in the German Bundesliga. And we're going to go to our next game, which is Augsburg versus Wolfsburg. Alright, so it's the clash of the Bergs. Alright, so predictions for this game. I'm expecting here Augsburg, they have been doing well of late. They have had some good results. Yeah. And while Wolfsburg, they have been a bit off keel. They haven't been themselves really. And so it's kind of hard to gauge them, to be honest with you. But for this game, I'm going to go with a draw. Both teams to score. In terms of predicted scoreline here, I'm going to say 1-1. Alright, so on the handicap system, if I should take a team on the handicap system, I would go here. I go on the handicap system and I go with a draw. Alright, I would go with a draw on the handicap system. So here, I would go with Wolfsburg to win by a goal, and I'd take a draw in this case. If I should take a bet on the handicap system. So recapping predictions for the Augsburg versus Wolfsburg game, I'm expecting a draw here. I'm expecting both teams to score. Predicted scoreline 1-1. And on the handicap system, a -1 in favor of Wolfsburg, and I'm going to take a draw on the -1 in terms of the handicap system. Alright, so we're going to move on to our next game, which is Bayern Leverkusen versus Schalke. Bayern Leverkusen versus Schalke. Now, Bayern Leverkusen earlier this week in the Champions League at Porto. Was it Porto? Yeah, they lost 2-0. Yeah, the game was 0-0 for the most part. For a long period of the game, it was 0-0. But I think in the last maybe 50 minutes, Porto managed to find 2 goals, and so they ended up beating Bayern Leverkusen 2-0. Alright, so I'm going to jump straight into it in terms of predictions for this game. I am going to select here Bayern Leverkusen to win, both teams to score. I am saying no, both teams won't score. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I am taking 2-0 here for Leverkusen. In terms of the handicap system, I should take a bet on the handicap system and go with Leverkusen to take this one by a goal. Alright, so predictions for the Bayern Leverkusen versus Schalke game. I'm expecting Bayern Leverkusen to win. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying no. In terms of double chance, I'd say either team to win and both not to score. In terms of a scoreline, I'm saying 2-0 in favor of Bayern Leverkusen. And on the handicap system, I'll go with Bayern Leverkusen to win this one by a goal. Alright, so let's jump. So those are my predictions in Bayern Leverkusen versus a Schalke game. We're going to go to our next game, which is Bochum versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt also played in the Champions League earlier this week at home against Tottenham Hotspurs from England. That game ended in a 0-0 draw. Tottenham Hotspurs had a couple of chances. Eintracht themselves had a couple of chances, but they did not score, and so the game ended in a 0-0 draw. A good result for Eintracht, I would say. Even though Tottenham is a hot and cold team in a sense, they're a bit unpredictable, but on their day they can blow you away. Yeah. So back to Bochum versus Eintracht Frankfurt, and for this game I'm going to go with Eintracht to win this one. Eintracht to win, both teams to score. I am going to say no, both teams won't score. So in terms of predicted scoreline here, I'm going to take Eintracht to win this one 2-0. If you don't want to bet the correct score, you can always go on the handicap system. I can go ahead and I can bet for Eintracht to win this one by a goal. Alright, so predictions for the Bochum versus Eintracht Frankfurt game. I'm expecting Eintracht Frankfurt to win here. Both teams to score, I'm going to say no. And in terms of a predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-0 in favor of Eintracht. And on the handicap system, I would take Eintracht to win this one by a goal. Sorry about it. So our next game after Eintracht versus Bochum, we have Mainz versus Red Bull Leipzig. They have been having a wonderful time in the league so far. They are playing the Champions League today. As a matter of fact, the game will soon start against Celtic. And so let's see how that ends. But I don't know if that's going to have much of an impact on their game that's coming up on the weekend against Mainz. Mainz is usually a good team at home, and so it's not going to be easy for RB Leipzig. So it should be an interesting matchup. And as you can see, based on the last 5 matches, RB Leipzig have won 3 and Mainz have managed to win 2. So if you want to look at where they are in the league, you see, let's look here. RB Leipzig is in 11 and Mainz is in 12. They're both on the same amount of points, just separated by a goal difference. So there is not much to pick apart between both teams in terms of where they are currently in the standings. Alright, so let's head back to this, and so let's go ahead and give you our predictions here. So based on the run of form and based on the quality players that both teams have, I do believe that Leipzig, if they have a good game today against Celtic, mind they are playing at home, and so I think they're playing at home, and so if things goes well and they don't get any major injuries, Timo Werner is scoring like he's scoring, yeah, and you have Christopher Nkunku, and so those guys, they are destroyers and they're there, and I do believe that Leipzig can go to Mainz and take this game, and as a result I'm going to take them to win this one. Alright, so RB Leipzig to win against Mainz here. Both teams to score, I'm saying yes. In terms of a double chance, I'd say either to win and both to score, yeah. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-1 in favor of RB Leipzig. If you don't want to take that bet, you can always go on the handicap system, and if you go on the handicap system here, I'm going to take RB Leipzig to take this one by a goal, but I'm going to take a draw here. Alright, so predictions for RB Leipzig versus Mainz. I'm expecting RB Leipzig to squeeze out the win here out of Mainz, and also I'm expecting both teams to score. And in terms of double chance, I'd say either to win and both to score. In terms of predicted scoreline here, I'm going with 2-1 in favor of RB Leipzig, and on the handicap system I'm going to -1 for RB Leipzig, minus the win by a goal, but I'm going to take a draw instead, so because that's a 3-way handicap system where you can take a draw, you can take a win for either home or away, but we're going with minus, but the factor here is that the determinant here is -1. All right, so those were the predictions for the Mainz versus RB Leipzig game, and now we're going to head to our next game, which is Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich had a 5-0 win against Victoria Polsen. I think that's the name of the team, Victoria Polsen, or Victor Polsen. Yeah, they had a 5-0, very convincing 5-0 win, and so therefore they should be flying high. That should give them a confidence boost, because they have been a little bit on and off in the German Bundesliga of late. So let's head straight into the predictions for this game. This game is going to be interesting. Definitely, I'm expecting both teams to score, so I'm going to start there. Both teams to score. In terms of a double chance, I go with the obvious one, which is both teams to score and either to win. Alright, predicted scoreline. Now this is where it gets interesting in terms of the predicted scoreline. This game is a possibility based on how Bayern Munich have played in recent times in the German Bundesliga. could easily well say, hey, this could end in a 2-all draw, yeah? But you never know, yeah? So this could end in a 2-all draw. But based on the result that I had earlier this week in the Champions League, I think that should give them an energy boost. That should give them some more. I don't think they're lacking in confidence. It's just that the team, you have some new parts of the team, and they haven't gelled as much as yet. And I think that I think that should come true against Dortmund. Dortmund is. I remember that game earlier in the season versus Bremen at home, where Bremen came back, and I think Bremen won that one 3-2. I was 3-1. Bremen, where they scored about 3 goals in about 10 minutes. Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to this game. I'm going to take 3-1 in favor of Bayern Munich here. And on the handicap system, I would also go ahead and I'll take Bayern Munich to win this one by 8 goals. Alright, on the handicap system. So that's what I have. So recapping predictions for the Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich, not Bayern Leverkusen, sorry folks. I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of a double chance, I'd say either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of Bayern Munich. And on the handicap system, I'll go with Bayern Munich to win this one by 8 goals. Alright, so those are my predictions for the Borussia Dortmund versus Bayern Munich game. And now we're going to skedaddle on over to the next game, which is Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Cologne. Alright, so Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Cologne here. So a game that this one is another game that is, I do believe that is anybody's game. Either team can win. To be honest with you, either team can win this game. Either team can win. So, but I'm gonna go with Mönchengladbach to take this one. In terms of, I'm going to say both teams not to score. It's highly unlikely the German Bundesliga, but I'm going to go with both teams not to score here. In terms of a double chance, I'd say either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline 2-0 in favor of Mönchengladbach. On the handicap system, I'd go ahead Mönchengladbach to win by a goal, but I'm going to take a draw instead. Alright, and that would mean that Mönchengladbach would start a game a goal behind. And if they end up winning this one 1-0, then that means it would have been a draw on the handicap system. Okay, folks? That's the reason why I take a draw here. Alright, so back to this now. No, this is the wrong one. This is it. Yeah. Back to this now. Alright, then so recapping predictions for the Mönchengladbach versus Cologne game. I'm expecting Mönchengladbach to win here. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying no. And in terms of a double chance, I'd say either team to win and both not to score. In terms of a predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-0 in favor of Mönchengladbach. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm going with a -1 for Mönchengladbach here, but I'm going to take a draw on that 3-way handicap system, that is. Alright, so those were the predictions for the Mönchengladbach versus Cologne game. And we're going to move on to our next game, which is Hertha Berlin versus Freiburg. Freiburg, interesting team. They've been doing well this season. I think they are still in the top 3. Let me check. They're still in the top 3, man. Yeah, they're second. They're on 17 points, 2 points ahead of Bayern Munich, only for a time, I do believe. Union Berlin leading the league, only for a time, I do believe as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if both teams should end the season outside of the Champions League places. Alright, it's a World Cup here. Interesting things could happen. You never know, we might have surprise teams winning certain leagues this season. Who knows, we might have the Leicester City effect in some of these leagues. Alright, so let's get straight back into it. For this game, Hertha Berlin versus Freiburg. This is going to be an interesting one, I do believe. And so as a result here, I'm going to take here, I'm going to say both teams to score. In terms of scoreline, I'm looking here and I'm going to take a 1-all draw. Alright. Before I can also go here on the system and see either team to win on the 3.4 goals. 3.5, kind of 3.4, 3.5 goals for this game. Alright. On the handicap system, I should take a team on the handicap system, folks. I would go with -1 and the draw. Alright. So as I said, I think this one is going to be a bit close. Freiburg is a good team, but I think away from home, things can get a little bit closer, right? And so I think that might be the case this week. And I think Freiburg is also playing in Europe too, so that might affect this weekend's result. Hence the reason why I'm predicting this result here. All right, so let's recap the predictions for the Hertha Berlin versus Freiburg game. I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of scoreline, I'm saying 1-1. And in terms of a double chance, I'd say either team to win and under 3.5 goals total for this game. All right, and also on the handicap system, I'll go with -1. I'll take a draw on that system. All right, so those are the predictions for the Hertha Berlin versus Freiburg game, and we're going to jump on over to our next game, which is the final game for this game week, and this game is Stuttgart versus Union Berlin. All right, Stuttgart versus Union Berlin. Here we're going to have an interesting one. I do believe Union Berlin, the league leaders, away to Stuttgart. It's going to be interesting. The last 5 games we've had 4 draws and 1 win here for Union. Well, not 1 win for Union, but this is head-to-head I'm talking about here. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Both teams to score, I'm saying no, because I think this one could end in a draw easily. In terms of a double chance, I'd say either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline from my perspective, I am going to take here Union to win this one by a goal. Otherwise, I think it ends in a draw, to be honest with you folks. Yeah. In terms of the handicap system, if you want to take a bet on the handicap system, I'll go with -1 for Union, but I'm going to take a draw here, because if Union should win this game 1-0, as I say, then that would mean that an aggregate on the handicap system, both teams would have scored a goal, and so therefore the game would be ending in a draw. So hence the reason why I'm selecting a draw here. All right. So, predictions again for the Stuttgart versus Union Berlin game. Both teams to score, I'm saying no. In terms of a double chances, either to win and both not to score. And both not to score, yeah. And in terms of a predicted scoreline, I'm saying 1-0 in favor of Union. And on the handicap system, -1, I'm going to take a draw here, alright? So, those are my predictions. And so, for the Union Berlin versus Union Berlin versus Stuttgart game, Union visiting Stuttgart, and so therefore those are my predictions for that game. I hope you have a wonderful game week. Continue to watch my videos, share these videos with your friend and your social media pages so that my YouTube channel can grow and we can get bigger and better. And so therefore I wish you happy betting this weekend. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for your time. All right, thanks.